guys, and welcome back to my channel and today's video. Today I'm gonna do 3 looks using one palette, and the palette I'm gonna use in today's video is the Prism palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette is a limited edition and this launched a couple of months ago. It's still available, but I don't know how long it will be available. So if you want this palette, I suggest that you go right ahead to Anastasia's website and purchase it, or to stores. I don't know which stores it's available in, because in my country it's not available in stores, only online. I purchased mine from the Anastasia website, and I do have some tutorials with this palette that I will link in my description box. I have done 5 looks. I know I have used it in another tutorial, so yeah, I have a bunch of tutorials with this palette, but I still wanted to do 3 looks using this palette. So if you wanted, you can see some looks you can do with this palette. I actually like this palette. I know that a lot of people said that this was a similar palette to the Subculture palette, or that this was the better alternative, just because the Subculture palette was a flop in a lot of people's opinions. This is my Subculture palette and I love this palette. I think that this is my favorite palette that launched this year. That's how much I love this palette. I think this is my favorite palette of all of the palettes that I have in my collection. And I am going to compare them side by side. Now, if you only want one palette, I would suggest that you buy the Prism palette, just because that palette is limited edition and this is not. So you can get your hands on this at any time, or any time. I mean, you can get this whenever. And if you still want this palette, then you can purchase this. But if no one of these was limited edition, I would suggest the Subculture palette, just because I find that you can do so much with this. You can do some grungy looks, you can do some very natural looks as well. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that and show them side by side to compare. But as I said, I really recommend this palette. I think that this is a great palette, and I love Anastasia Beverly Hills. They are one of my favorites brand of all time. I think that was it. This retails for 42 bucks if you are interested, and please let me know which palette you would like to see next in this series, 3 looks with using one palette. I'm not gonna talk anymore. Let's just get into the video and my 3 tutorials. This is 8. My 3 tutorials. I didn't really know what I wanted to do for my first look, but I started out with Eden anyway and just put that in my crease and a little bit above my crease, as I usually do. And then I went in with Saturn. These 2 shades complement each other beautifully. They are both quite warm orangey red. So I just love these 2 shades together, and they are just perfect in the crease. I did decide to do something dark and yellow, so I really wanted to use the shade Spear. But this shade, since it is like a neon, you have to have some type of a base, and I didn't want to take a black base because that would take over too much. So I took the NYX Jumbo pencil in the shade Milk and just put that as a base, and then I took the shade Spear on top of it, and it just looks exactly like it does in the pan, and it's just so beautiful. And then I'm gonna take the shade Obsidian, which is the black shade in the palette, and I'm taking that in my outer corner, but I wasn't really happy with that, so I started to take it almost like a wing that you do. So yeah, it's gonna look really cool in the end, but it might look a little bit crazy as we go along. It's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left, get in trouble again. That stuff's got nothing on you. That was brand new, still it's got nothing on you tonight. We could get back to this, catching up. Under my eyes, I'm gonna take the shade Obsidian once again, and I'm just putting that on a very slim brush and then trying to smoke this out, and then the first look is actually completed. Get in trouble again, that star's got nothing on you. That one's brand new, still it's got nothing on you tonight. We've got a fire in the tent, it's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left, get in trouble. So for this look, I wanted to do something a little bit more natural, and I also wanted to show you guys that you can set your concealer or your eyeshadow primer with the shade Unity if you are as fair as I am. It's a little bit too yellow and dark for me, but it works once we get all of the shades on. But at the moment it might look a little bit crazy, but just bear with me. Unfortunately, I think I'm starting with the shade Eden in every tutorial, and this is no exception. But yeah, as I said, it's an amazing crease color. It's warm and it goes well with, like, even if you want to use the shade Dimension or Dimension, or if you want to use something else in this palette, I just think it's a nice shade. But I didn't use Saturn in this look anyway. I went in with Parallel, and what I realized was that you kind of have to build this shade. As you can see, I have taken a lot on my brush, but it won't really stick to my skin, so this is definitely a miss for me. But if you just build it up, you will get amazing results, but you have to work with this. And this is going to be a halo eye. I wanted to do something a little bit more natural, so I'm taking the shade Parallel and putting this in my inner corner as well, and then blending them together towards the crease. And since the shade Parallel isn't as dark as I thought it would be, or as I wanted it to be, I will go in with the shade Obsidian, and I'm not gonna take a lot. I'm just gonna darken this up a bit because I still wanted it to be quite smoky, and I thought that Parallel would be better for that, but I don't know if I don't know, but it just doesn't work as I wanted to. So I'm just darkening my inner corner and outer corner and crease with Obsidian.
It's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left getting.
And then for my lid color, or like the middle color, I'm gonna take the shade Pyramid, which is this magical gold color. It's so beautiful, and as you can see, it's quite impressive by using it alone. But I will, however, spray my brush a little bit when I'm applying this, because I want that really intense shadow. But usually I don't have to do that when I'm working with Anastasia's shadows, not the latest anyway, but this shade needed it a little bit more. And I'm also gonna do an eyeliner to this look, and I'm using the Beauty UK Phantom True Black, I think it's called. I will link all of the products in my description box anyway.
I'm glad you came. For a while I thought you might be bailing. Is that the same yellow shirt you used to wear? But 1,000 years seem like almost no time now.
Once my face makeup is done, I am going to take the shade Parallel and put it under my eyes just to complete the look. And I'm also going to take an eye pencil from Doucce. I'm not really sure, but this is in the shade 600. And then this look is completed. No, I'm gonna take the shade Lucid and put this in my inner corner as my inner corner highlight, and then this look is done.
I don't need to go over old and useless words. What you said, what I said, that might have made it worse. We're here again at the same spot where we kissed the first time. I swear my pain's far away, long gone by now. We've got a fire in the tent.
For my third look, I'm starting with the shade Eden, and I know I started every tutorial with the shade Eden. I didn't really think this through, so I'm really sorry for that, but Lure is also a very nice shade to use in your crease, especially with the shade Dimension. That's a very nice and beautiful combo if you want some tips. But now I'm gonna take the shade Saturn, and I am just darkening this crease up a bit, not darkening it up a bit, but making it a little bit more intense. And then I'm gonna take the shade Parallel, and I'm gonna take this on quite, it's fluffy when it starts, but it's very pointy in the middle, so it can come right in the crease. No, that is not the brush I'm using now, sorry. But as you can see, I'm focusing this in my crease and I don't want it to go above my crease. So I am actually like sticking the brush up in my crease. You can see the technique I am using. And then I'm gonna take the shade Obsidian, and that is where I'm going in with this like Morphe brush that I talked about, that is very slim. It's thick in the bottom and then it's slim in the end, so it can go very easily in the crease. Basically, it makes the shadow don't blend away from the crease.
I'm glad you came. For a while I thought you might be bailing. Is that the same yellow shirt you used to wear? But 1,000 years seem like almost no time now. This guitar right here, do you still remember how?
Then I'm gonna take a little bit of e.l.f. glitter primer, and I don't really know how I feel about this anymore because I have noticed that it has started to make my shadow crack after a few hours. So maybe you should stick to the Too Faced or the NYX one, because those I've heard are better. I've never personally tried them, but I think I will purchase the NYX one next. Now I'm gonna take the shade Osiris, and this shade is very dry, but it's very beautiful. It's blue, but it still contains some purple glitter, or purple or pink glitter in it. It's so beautiful. And now I'm just blending the lines a bit, and then I'm taking the W7 eyeliner to make a little cute wing.
It's 5:30 a.m. Let's be the kids who left get in trouble again.
Once my face makeup is done, I'm gonna take the shade Parallel under my eyes, and I also will smoke this out with a little bit of the black, the Obsidian one. I like this black. It's not too intense, but it's a nice black. I really like this black. And as you can see, I'm just smoking it out a bit because my lid is so smoky and it's has a lot going on, so I definitely wanted it to be a little bit smoked out on my lower lash line as well. And I'm taking the shade that I cannot pronounce the name of, Doucce, don't know, in the shade 600, but that completes this look. I really hope that you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Please let me know which palette you want me to use next, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!